everyone, my name is Maya Febrina with AZRN 233400012. I'm a student at Universitas Muhammadiyah Metro, majoring in English Education Department. So today I will make a video analysis about to fulfill a forensic linguistic with the lecturer Mr. Amiruddin. And alright, without any further ado, let's get started to my analysis. Alright everyone, so in this video, I will explain my analysis entitled Speech Act Analysis in Courtroom Discourse, a forensic linguistic study of the Sarah Boone case. So, this presentation discusses how language functions in courtroom interaction, particularly through the perspective of forensic linguistics and speech act theory. So, presentasi ini ataupun video ini akan mendiskusikan akan memberikan penjelasan bagaimana sebuah bahasa berfungsi di dalam persidangan. Then, the first is we will talk about course objectives. The objective of this course is to help students understand how language operates within legal context. Specifically, this course there's 5 specifically aims. The first is explain the relationship between language and law, menjelaskan bagaimana hubungan antara bahasa dan hukum. And then the second is analyze legal discourse using linguistic theories. The third is mengidentifikasi bagaimana language function as power, control, and evidence in legal settings. The fourth is apply linguistic analysis to real courtroom data, and the last is develop critical thinking skills and evaluating legal communication. And my analysis directly addresses these objectives by examining real courtroom discourse. And then we will talk about the theory of forensic linguistics. According to Coulthard and Johnson 2007, forensic linguistics is the study of language used in a legal context. So, berdasarkan dari Coulthard and Johnson, forensic linguistics adalah sebuah studi bahasa yang digunakan di dalam legal context, the courtroom interaction, and language as legal evidence. In this study, forensic linguistics provides the framework to analyze how spoken language in court carries legal force and consequences. Next, we will talk about scope of forensic linguistics. So, the main focus forensic linguistics ini berfokus di 3 main areas. The first is language of the law, which refers to formal legal language used in judgment and legal decision. Jadi bahasa sebagai bahasa hukum. And second, language in the legal process, which includes interaction during trial such as questioning, clarification, and procedural control. Di sini adalah bahasa sebagai proses hukum. And then the third is language as legal evidence. Di sini bahasa berfungsi sebagai bukti, like where spoken or written language itself become evidence that influences legal interpretation. All 3 scopes appear clearly in the Sarah Boone's courtroom. So, 3 scope ini muncul di dalam persidangannya Sarah Boone. And then I already analyzed the videos and then connect it with a forensic linguistic function and then with speech act. The first is in this courtroom there's a judge and then defendant and etc. The first is we will talk about the judge. It's like one clear example of language of the law, yaitu adalah bahasa sebagai bahasa hukum, is the judge's utterance yang disampaikan oleh hakim. For example is the court sentences you to life in the Department of Correction. At the locutionary level, the sentence states that the defendant received a life sentence. And then, at the illocutionary level, the utterance functions as a verdictive act because the judge officially delivers a legal judgment. At the perlocutionary level, the utterance result in immediate legal consequences, including loss of freedom and permanent change in the defendant's legal status. This so that the judge's speech act is fully effective due to institutional authority. Alright, so next is language in the legal process atau bahasa sebagai proses hukum. Alright, the example utterance is like, I have spent over 20 hours reviewing this case, and the speaker is defense attorney, and then the explanation is pernyataan untuk menjelaskan dan membela profesionalitas serta tanggung jawab hukum pengacara, yang dimana ini berarti berlangsung ataupun terlaksana ataupun bahasa yang digunakan, language that is used is show the process of the law in a courtroom. The example can be seen when the judge asks procedural question or gives instruction, such as clarifying legal right or appeal procedures. At the locutionary level, the utterance take the form of questions or explanation. At the illocutionary level, they function as assertive acts, that is, regulating courtroom procedures and ensuring legal clarity. And then, at the perlocutionary level, they guide the defendant's understanding of legal option and ensure the trial process according to law. This type of language controls interaction rather than deciding the verdict. And then, the third is we will talk about the example of language as legal evidence. An example of language as a legal evidence, yaitu bahasa sebagai bukti hukum, is the defendant's statement. For example, it's like, she has lied to me. At the locutionary level, this is a direct accusation. But at the illocutionary level, it functions as an assertive act, yaitu mengekspresikan kepercayaan ataupun mengekspresikan sebuah klaim. At the perlocutionary level, the expected effect is to create doubt about the defense counsel's credibility. However, the impact is limited because the speaker lacks institutional authority as supporting evidence. This demonstrates that not all speech acts in court are equally powerful. Based on the analysis, the effectiveness of speech acts in the courtroom depends heavily on institutional power. The judge's speech acts are the most authoritative and legally binding. The lawyer's speech act function to argue, explain, and persuade. The defendant's speech acts are the weakest and often fail to produce legal effects. Thus, power and role determine whether an utterance can change legal reality. In conclusion, the courtroom interaction in the Sarah Boone case shows that language functions not only as communication but also as a legal action and evidence. Jadi, contoh-contoh yang sudah saya sampaikan tadi memperlihatkan ataupun menunjukkan interaksi di dalam persidangan kasusnya Sarah Boone ini menunjukkan bahwa fungsi bahasa itu tidak serta-merta hanya sebagai komunikasi, alat komunikasi, but also bisa juga menjadi sebuah aksi yang legal. Bahasa itu bisa menjadi sebuah bahasa sebagai proses hukum dan juga bahasa bisa menjadi sebuah bukti di dalam persidangan. And by applying Austin's speech act theory, this analysis reveals that authority and institutional roles determine which utterances have legal force. Therefore, speech act analysis is an essential tool in forensic linguistics for understanding how justice is linguistically constructed. And there is the references that I use. The first is the Austin theory about speech acts. The title is How to Do Things with Words. And then the Coulthard and Johnson. The title is An Introduction to Forensic Linguistic Language in Evidence, Routledge. So, and then this is the link of the courtroom of Sarah Bones case. Alright everyone, that's all for my analysis, the result of my analysis about the speech act in a forensic linguistic discourse. And I hope this video will influence or maybe can engage your knowledge about speech act and in forensic linguistic. And the last I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you and thank you.